Hello everyone, I'm very pleased to be here with you today, and I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this conference. Today I'm going to speak about an initiative that we launched 5 years ago in Paris, which is called Welcome City Lab. And the idea is to help young entrepreneurs build their company and be successful in the tourism and travel industry. So how did we do that? First of all, we needed a network and a good ecosystem to create that kind of places where we can coach startups, young entrepreneurs, go ahead. So we found a network called Paris & Co. Paris & Co. is a non-profit organization that runs 14 incubators. Each of them focuses on different economic sectors, like publishing, finance, sport, health, in creative industries, etc. And the idea of this network is that usually innovation comes from the meeting with someone who doesn't come from your environment. You meet different people, so a new idea pops up and springs, and then this is like this, that usually a new invention is being created. So the idea of this network is to interact with people who are different and who can imagine the economy for tomorrow. Then the second reason why we create Welcome City Lab is that we really wanted to identify the future unicorns of European and international tourism. Usually unicorns come from the Silicon Valley, and we had like a dream that Europe could also generate the future unicorns of tomorrow. We wanted also to create a culture of innovation for the tourism and travel sector. In my previous job, so I've been working in the tourism and travel industry for the past 25 years. I was a travel agent, a tour operator, and I was the manager of the tourism department at the City of Paris. And I used to receive hundreds and hundreds of people at my office telling me the trouble when you are young, when you don't have any background or network, to try to be heard and to be in touch with the tourism and travel industry that doesn't always generally open its doors to newcomers. So the idea is to generate a culture of innovation and to make them understand that innovation is also a process where everybody can be a winner. Big groups, big companies on one side, and small startups on the other side, they can really interact and work together. And the idea is really to foster a relationship between these two universes. And that's why in July 2013, we launched Welcome City Lab that became the first tourism incubator in the world dedicated to innovation in tourism and travel. So for the past 5 years, our key indicators are we incubated around 100 startups with a 90% success rate. The 10%, we cannot say they failed. They just stopped the activity, usually because of human reasons, not only tech reasons, because when you read media and press, we only speak about tech, but we can see that the major factor of the stopping of a company is that people don't really get along anymore, or they don't have the same view on the company in the near future. This company raised globally 150 million euros, and the most important figure to me is the number of jobs, 650 jobs created for the past 5 years through the incubators. We did that with some partners, obviously. I was coming myself from the tourism industry. I didn't want to create an incubator closed on itself on its own startups. I really to do that with you, with the major operators in the travel and tourism industry, because I was convinced that through interaction and through experimentation, both sides could really benefit from one another. So we gathered a certain number of big companies from different sectors, like Galeries Lafayette for department store, Sodexo for restoration, Paris In Group for hotels, etc. The idea is to be a diverse steering committee to help young entrepreneurs grow faster and also to be inspired by Welcome City Lab. Why do these people come to the steering committee? They are looking to accelerate their innovation process through experimenting and testing new ideas with startups. Little by little in the beginning, so we started incubating people, and many journalists and media asked us, so can you tell us through startups what the major trends in tourism innovation are? In the beginning, we were not able to answer that because you need really to have a global and world overview on tourism innovation. So we built an international network of people who do monitoring in Asia, North America, Latin America, Africa, and Europe to be able to detect the tourism and innovation trends that are going to impact the professional of tourism based on the analysis of startup. Because usually what you can see is that the same idea pop-ups in different countries at the same time, but nobody knows it. So if you have the ability to understand that the same kind of service and innovation is emerging in different continents, that means that a global trend is emerging and is going to impact the professional in tourism. So we publish a trend book every year that really gives you some insight about the trends that are going to impact your jobs in the near future. We have a great now audience of 30,000 readers, and the next copy, the next issue, will be published in December next month. You will be able to download it for free on our website that is indicated here. So I'm going already to give you some information about what is going to be the content of this new trend book in December. So we identified 5 major trends for which startups have some solutions, some services, some answers that you could experiment with. The first major trend is, of course, about over-tourism. We all saw the demonstrations in European cities like Barcelona of residents complaining about the pressure tourism industry puts on their daily life. So some startups work on, for instance, offering off-the-beaten tracks services and develop what we call creative tourism. Creative tourism is a tourism based on creative workshops. And so people, for instance, make a wine tasting, they test something, and they really are proactive in the way they discover the destination. So you don't need to do that in summer or in peak period. You can do it all year round, and it's a good way also for visitors to interact with the residents and locals. So these are some examples of a way to stop over-tourism and to develop a more human approach of tourism through startups and through new ideas. The second trend we identified is about hybrid places. Usually, you used to have an accommodation somewhere, a restaurant somewhere else, and a place for an activity somewhere else. So the trend that we have analyzed, especially in the field of youth hostels, is that, for instance, youth hostels are becoming living places, not only for young visitors, of course, obviously, who stay there, but they're open to young people for the neighborhood. Young people go there because there is a cafe or web cafe, digital tools for them. There is a co-working space for people who work, who are independent, and they also offer activities like workshops or professional networking. So the idea is that through startups you can probably think about, as a hotel manager, you could develop as new services to open your hotel to locals and to make it hybrid places to enhance its attractiveness. The third trend that we identified is how you could really interact with the 5 senses of your customers, like sight, like smell, sound, touching. Many startups develop new services through virtual reality, through olfactive, we call that olfactive logo, to give you an identity in terms of smelling. Sound, of course, relaxing sounds for your place to be really identified with a new kind of sounds. So startups bring new ideas for the 5 senses to really make sure that your visitor really immediately understands that it is you and it is the place where they should be. Then the fourth trend we identified is about emotions. We used to hear about customer experience for a long time, but now you have to go ahead, to go deeper, and to develop a wow effect, to surprise your visitors where you are, to provide them not only the services they were looking for, or the image they wanted to capture, but also a surprising element, something that really impresses them and that they're going to be able to bring with them back home. So you have many startups now bringing wow effects through digital effects or through interaction with locals. But emotion is also a way to understand how people speak about you in terms of words, how they speak about you on social networks. So many startups now develop services to help you understand what words they use when they speak about you when they come back home, and what kinds of emotions you are able to generate towards your customers. So you have many examples of people dealing with the emotion analysis after a stay for a visitor. And then the last trend is about predictive. Now with artificial intelligence, startups can help you predict how your customer is going to, and when people are going to book a service, to book a stay, a flight, a service, and what is the profile of your customers through its identity on social networks or through digital tools. So artificial intelligence is really revolutioning the way people are working in terms of predictive analysis. So as a conclusion, I would say that Welcome City Lab is a very enthusiastic experience and innovation, because it's a positive message now that we can bring to youngsters. We tell them, yes, tourism represents the future for you. If you have a bright idea, an ability to analyze a service, a need that must be met, so you can really go ahead. We will be with you. We will help you in terms of coaching in all the fields that you need to be successful. And we will do that in synergy with the tourism and travel professional. And you will be really surrounded by people who will help you be successful. And we launched that in Paris 5 years ago, and now we are developing a project of an international and European network of tourism incubators. So if in the room some people are interested, I can help them also build a tourism incubator for their own company or their own destination. Thank you very much.
That was a great invitation, and thank you very much, Laurent. I really only have one question for you, and that's the 1 million euro question. If you had 1 million euros and you look to all the startups in your portfolio right now, where would you put it as an investor?
I think I would put my money on people who now work on innovation in human resources. Because we have been speaking for years about technological innovation, digital innovation, but you cannot limit innovation to only the tech area. You can be innovative in terms of services, use, And after designing new devices, new technological devices, now we need to focus more on the human resources and the skills of our employees, salaries, and partners. So I would put my money on people who work on how to enhance and foster human resources and skills in the tourism industry.
On human resources, very nice. We have time for a question or two. Anyone?
Thanks a lot. I think I am one of the, company you might support. So we are, from Provence, okay, in France. And I do believe, that the last sentence you were pronouncing, saying that unicorns are not only, in technology, but they are more also, I think, in marketing and in commercial talents. So we do have a lot of territories in France and all around Europe which are not very well, enhanced by commercial approach. And I do believe that our territories are, blessed by nature and by culture. And we need, to enhance all these qualities for the foreign visitors. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. Unless there's a quick question more, we will say thanks to Laurent. Give him a big hand.